Shank hooks on crane blocks must be inspected in accordance with applicable ASME B30, CSA Z150, and other crane standards. These standards mandate that the crane hook be inspected for surface indications and damage and corrosion, which could compromise the integrity of the crane block. Because of the type of environment in which these hooks are required to perform, corroded threads can be a problem not only in the removal of the nut, but also in the inspection process. The innovative patented split nut retention system featured on McKissick crane blocks up to 80 tons makes inspection easier and eliminates conventional threaded nut and problems associated with the nut removal for inspection. The hook can be disassembled, inspected, and put back into service in a fraction of the time of a conventional threaded nut. Before initiating the inspection process on the hook and nuts, place the block in a position that will expose the shank end of the hook and support the body of the hook. To begin, remove the protective vinyl cover. Next, remove the spiral retaining ring and slide the steel keeper ring off the split nuts, being careful not to allow split nut halves to fall from hook shank. Then, remove split nut halves. Clean hook shank and split nut halves of all foreign materials prior to inspection. Inspect hook shank for signs of deformation on and adjacent to the load-bearing surfaces, being sure to inspect outside corner of hook shank load-bearing surface to verify the corner is sharp. Inspect split nut halves for signs of deformation on and adjacent to the load-bearing surfaces. Next, verify retaining ring groove will allow proper seating of the retaining ring, and inspect the retaining ring for corrosion or deformation. Remove from service any retaining ring that has excessive corrosion or is deformed and replace with genuine Crosby parts. Use a fine grit emery or crocus cloth to remove any corrosion from machined hook shank and split nut assembly. If corrosion is present on the nut and/or shank interface area and deterioration or degradation of the metal components is evident, further inspection is required. The use of a feeler gauge is required to properly measure the maximum allowable gap width between the split nut inside diameters and shank outside diameters. To measure, seat one split nut half against the hook shank. Then, push the nut to one side and measure the maximum gaps as shown. The hook shank should be measured in 4 places, 90 degrees apart. Both half nuts should be inspected in the same manner. Remove from service any hook and split nut assembly that exhibits a gap greater than 30 thousandths of an inch. It's important to understand that each split nut assembly is a matched set and should not be interchanged. If one half nut is taken out of service, the matching half must also be replaced. Before assembly, additional non-destructive examinations may be required on the hook and split nut based on block usage and history. Before reassembly of the hook and nut, first coat the hook shank and the inside of each half of the split nut with an anti-seize compound or heavy grease. To begin, insert the hook into the trunnion, then slide the bearing onto the shank of the hook. Next, install split nut halves onto shank, ensuring the flanged bottom of the split nut is closest to the hook shoulder. Then, slide the steel keeper ring over the split nut halves, verifying the split nut halves properly seat against the load-bearing surface of the hook shank, and the steel keeper ring seats against the flange of the split nut. Install retaining ring onto split nut halves, verifying that the retaining ring seats properly in the retaining ring groove on the outside diameter of the split nut assembly. Finally, install vinyl cover over split nut and hook shank assembly. Pending any further inspection to the other components of the block, it is now ready to be put back into service. For additional information or videos about the many products and services offered by the Crosby Group, you may contact Crosby direct at 1-800-772-1500 and visit our website at www.thecrosbygroup.com for the latest updates on our products and services. Or you can email us at crosbygroup@thecrosbygroup.com.